local tumble where a bunch of longtime friends and internet nerds transcend geography through the power of Discord to play Dungeons and Dragons, and critically fumble a lot. We are yet again, unfortunately, without Harry. The not so much the ill part of the pandemic, but all of the associated hardships are hitting him a little bit hard at the moment, poor sod. But, I suppose the one good thing is, well, first of all, Happy Easter, guys. But this does mean that we didn't have to cancel for family outings, because we aren't having those right now. Which is kind of sad, but at the same time, we have D&D. We have socially isolated D&D. This is good. All hail Roll20. Previously, the Cupcake Coterie, after a truly disastrous sojourn in the Elven Wild, and the Shadowfell, briefly, which was not fun for anybody, returned to Hearthhome with the surprisingly cheerful announcement of, oh hey, we're luring an ancient green dragon over here in like a week. With all the people you care about, two of which can defend themselves, but there's an awful lot of kids, like all the kids, and that thankfully, they have some straight-up common sense in the party. And it was like, okay, well, why can't we just evacuate them? And thankfully, they knew of a place to do so. So it's almost good that something ate their horse.
Common sense is not common, which is why he is good when situations like that result in things we can do.
I'm going to duct tape you.
Rightly so.
They sorted that situation out only to kind of have it potentially superseded by visions from the elements about how they could conceivably kill two birds with one stone, or one dragon with an awful lot of stabby, by basically going to the now completely empty Star Coast, reigniting its heart through the power of the elements and the divine, and basically lure ancient green dragon bitch over where she couldn't hurt anybody. They're still going to evacuate the kids on the chance that green dragon will pause long enough to annihilate the homestead, which theoretically she could probably do, but better safe than sorry. So that's all getting organized. Meanwhile, Remy had a word with the head mercenary companies, really. There were some others that weren't actually speaking, but they tend to be lower on the totem pole, the foot soldier types. Remy was speaking to sort of her fellows in the, I guess, elite corps, so to speak. And while they're obviously not going to be tromping down with you to fight Ancient Green Dragon, they did offer a word with their quartermaster, who might be able to provide some, poison resistance stuff, something like that. Additionally, Twilly is currently working on a complicated bit of magic to kind of goldfish bowl a said ancient green dragon in a sort of reverse prismatic wall. So that's going to be keeping her up nights. And after hanging out with the mercenaries, everybody sort of crashed, mostly out of gas stress. Those of you who are in Fort Cupcake are kind of poked awake by various children Alice and Remy get Rissy because she's one of the oldest and probably likely to be a little bit more diplomatic about the whole thing. Ava gets Dawn. Jervin gets Evan to bouncing on his chest. Boink, 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 boink. Furseth gets Faraday and Skylar. And they all get, can you come into the sitting room, please? We have a little bit of family business.
Okay, I'll be right back.
And Alice is just, okay, this isn't scary shit, right? No, this is actually cheerful stuff for change.
Remy rolls out.
Oh, good. Yeah, so clothes thrown on and out, and there's this pile of knitted things, snacks, and various widgets sitting on the on the Fort Cupcake table, and they're just basically going, okay, so don't know if you know this, but see, when Hazel came to live with us, we didn't know when her birthday was because nobody told her. So we kind of picked a birthday for her, and it's today. So we have the gift pile. She probably forgot because it's been real busy. So if you want to pick something, pause there. And we're gonna surprise her with the big cake pan breakfast, which is why we got you up so early.
I
Okay.
look around the pile a bit.
Yeah, I'm like,
I mean, really, it's just little things. Knitted goods and little home-baked snack foods and decorative bits and pieces. A couple of bits of jewelry. Obviously, just little woven wire bits and pieces. So, just name something that you might have picked out of the pile that Hazel might.
probably some sort of biscuit type of thing, but specifically chosen because it looks like it would go really, really well with her favorite cranberry preserves.
There is sort of a. They look like the most awkwardly baked damn biscuits in the history of ever, but they're like southern biscuits. Not see, for me, biscuit means cookie.
Right. That's
So,
actually more what I
I'm
was
a
going
little-
for. So
Yeah, but in this case, for what Hazel, what would go well with the preserves is something a bit more like scones.
thank you. That's the word.
So that's what I mean. So basically, you just get and they're sort of long life scones, and they're really oddly shaped. They were clearly baked by somebody who's, they're probably okay with the ingredients and the balance of that because they look okay. They just wonky is the best word. Wonky. Alice has picked up something that looks a bit like an awkward kind of hair clip with some little green stones set in it. It's small enough so that even with the big bow, we can tie her hair in a braid and sort of clip it down at the bottom so that the hair is tamed, but she still gets to keep the bow. And it's got green, so there you go.
Is there something like a green scarf or mittens or something like that?
There does seem to be a sort of green hat, scarf, mittens set. But again, sort of wonkily done. You're pretty sure those are. You're pretty sure those are supposed to be snowflakes, but they kind of look like somebody did some really weird shit with runes, sort of
With love.
along the edge. Yeah, it's definitely made with love. It's just, you know.
I'll scoop that up then.
Remy gets a something appropriately sugary. That is always a good birthday
There's a box containing some rather lumpy bits of maple sugar candy, which well, you know, it's hazel, it's maple, it's gotta be a favorite of hers. Maple seems to be one of those things. So yeah, that's Remy's got that. Yes, I am going to make you think of something. Everybody else thought of something.
Yeah. I was thinking something sugary as well, but since that's done,
That helps. I was going to think of the hair clip.
You absolute excellent people.
And honestly, my first thought was the green hair thing. So, you know, so hey.
Well, you have to be careful with the green hair thing because you can't replace the bow. You can never replace the bow.
So aside from that, probably some sort of like green jewelry, whether like a bracelet or a necklace or something along those lines.
There is a kind of a woven wire cuff, which it looks similar actually to the hair clip. Same sort of green stones carved to sort of look like leaves. It's actually probably, along with the hair clip, it's one of the more accurately done bits and pieces because Oscar is massive perfectionist.
Okay.
So okay, I guess we're getting ready for surprise birthday party breakfast. Oh, okay. I've never really done a birthday party thing before. Okay. I'm just gonna follow all y'all's lead.
You'll enjoy it, don't worry.
Oh, I'm sure, but I mean, we had a sort of coming of age thing, but beyond, we're pretty sure this is the anniversary of the day you were born. We're just gonna make your favorite dinner. It's kind of hard to party in near perpetual blizzard.
Mm.
And, my parents didn't go in much for that kind of thing. Anyway, let's go. So, onward to Hearthhome. Or it's actually Rizwin kind of poking Hazel like, Hazel. And yeah, the kids took their leave with the rest of the parcels, so basically the entire lot of kids are just happy birthday! They're all used to you. They all got out of the way. So you did not land on any small children.
Like the gods, they understand that I tend to
They
wake
know-
up
they know you.
rapidly.
They know you. They most of them grew up with you. So yes, there you are on the floor, surrounded by kids throwing basically makeshift confetti.
Cogitating. It finally hits me what's actually going on. And there's about 3 seconds of pure hypersonic squee.
You guys hear that as you're approaching the house.
Oh, she's awake.
Yeah, oh good. Hazel's up. Or Hazel's awake. Oi.
Yeah, the kids are basically sort of falling all over each other, trying to provide presents. Oscar has apparently been working very hard the last little while to make you a shiny new Palor symbol to wear. Because he's apparently got the impression that it's the symbol and what it means rather than that specific one that gives it the power, you know. So it's just like, I thought that one was probably getting a bit dinged up, so I made you this one. There's actually a chunk of topaz set into the middle of it as well, so it's rather shinier.
Just lots of incomprehensible squealing noises, thankfully less hypersonic, and lots of hugs around basically every time someone hands me something.
Yeah, Skylar has managed to put you together a plushy fairy dragon with a Palor chest plate sewn out of cloth. It's awkward as hell, but
It's still getting hugs and loves, and basically he's bouncing in place with it.
new dress from Zana, various homemade treats from just about everybody else.
I'm basically radiating joy right now. Like, possibly literally glowing.
And you got Skylar going, and there's gonna be cake and breakfast, and everybody's gonna be there. Come!
Oh, glory to Cake Pan!
Yeah, you guys are in by this point, and there's a little banner, somewhat awkwardly lettered of "Happy Birthday, Hazel." Little streamers and things. Apparently, they've been up since before dawn doing this. And Twilly from the kitchen area just going, you do know that we're going to have to figure out when all of your birthdays are. Just give an approximate time of year, and that'll do. They'll if you're not entirely sure, just give an approximate time of year, or whenever whoever celebrated or at least made mention of it, and we'll work it out from there. That's what we did with Hazel. That horrible bint in the Elven Wild didn't exactly give Hazel her actual birthday either, so. Sideways glance and grin at Remy. Of course, we could just write to your mother.
Oh god.
Yeah, Alice is smothering the grin at that point.
Meanwhile, Darwin's over here thinking, like, I'm oddly glad that's not an option with me now. But I don't know how I should feel about being glad about that.
And Miranda's like, well, theoretically, we could probably write to your father.
That was out loud. Thankfully, I don't think any of the kids are around.
Yeah, so she's like, language. Remember, you are in a household with small children.
Ooh, sorry.
And they all come charging out with Hazel, probably in the new dress made by Zana behind them.
Yeah, full-on stampede. I may or may not have at least two of them just up on shoulder.
Probably Evan and Skylar, because they are the smallest of them.
Yep. So, rotary Hazel arrangement.
Oh, I guess we don't really have to wish a happy birthday, because look at the happy already. We gained access to the present pile. If you wouldn't mind, it's hard to give you anything when you're spinning.
I'm going to rotate over to the nearest place of sitting and...
Okay, let's hope that Evan is as dexterous as I know him to be.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, Evan manages to turn it all into a roll. Skylar kind of topples off the edge of the sofa that she flumped onto.
Hazel, be careful.
Yeah, I saw that coming.
You okay, Skylar?
I'm fine. I get worse bruises in that training.
going to lean over the edge. You are amazing!
Just still lying there. And Alice just walks over, and we didn't really have a chance to wrap anything, because this was all kind of sudden, because you didn't tell us any of this. So, happy birthday, and hands over the clip. It's small enough so it can go at the bottom of a braid, and still match with your hair bow.
Another couple seconds of hypersonic happen.
You can thank me by not making that noise anymore!
Yeah, here. It was the one thing in the pile I thought would go good with the cranberry preserves. So there you go.
Your small basket of very awkward-looking scones.
Praise the scones! And I'm holding them up in a full-on praise the sun motion.
It's like
What sort of season is it right now?
winter. You're in the middle of winter. You're not
Very snowy.
you're not very far from the equivalent to Christmas.
Okay. Well, I thought these would be useful, particularly in current weather.
Hat on.
It's another one with those pom poms.
Bounce, 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 bounce.
Remy pushes a tin of maple cookies out to Hazel.
Candies, not
Happy birthday.
cookies.
And Froseth will hold out the
Bracelet.
bracelet. Yeah, bracelet.
Bracelet goes off. Candy popped open and offered around for anyone who wants some.
Remy definitely wants some.
Yeah. I admit I haven't had maple in proper in a minute. It's not really a desert thing. At which point, Twilly and Miranda are just, we've got something as well, but we're going to save that for after breakfast. But we don't want the pancakes to burn or get cold. So if you'd like to sit down,
Praise the
Hazel.
power of cake pans!
So yes, breakfast is summarily devoured. Twilly is spending most of it at her side of the head of the table is kind of stacks of books and bits of parchment, and it's sort of interchanging fork and quill, and every now and again there's sort of looks. Oh no, that's the quill. No, I really don't want to put that in my mouth. And then just tucks it behind her ear, so she's kind of got this smudge of ink around about there at that point. Well, I'm trying to make this work.
How's it going so far?
It's working from first principles. It's interesting. It's going. Put it that way. I will crack it. It's just a reversal sort of situation, and there's a whole terrible lot I could say, but unless you have the kind of arcane background of Clarity or Sigwald, it will make absolutely no sense.
Well, if anyone can crack it, you can.
No, I'm sorry, I don't have time. Looking at Darvin. She saw that.
I'm just looking from mom to mama and mom to mama and mama to mom, and just back and forth, just sort of anticipating some kind of moment of adorable and trying to not interrupt anything. Just bouncing in sheer joy.
Eat your breakfast. It can wait.
No. There's. It's not like I'm actually like taking the time to
Properly savor breakfast.
savor everything, because under normal circumstances this would have been me equals blender.
Yeah, okay. So breakfast happens and kids go about their chores list, and Twilly and Miranda sort of stand up and go, All right. Now, obviously you have your bits of armor all on your own, and you don't follow either of the paths that Tully and I did. But out of the two of us, you're a bit more in Twilly's sort of direction. So, I mean, clearly you've got some little bits to wear, but... And steps over to a sheet-draped bit in a corner and removes the sheet. And what's there is a sort of a... not quite piratical sort of outfit, but it's certainly got that kind of swashbuckling adventurer kind of feel to it. Blouse with slightly puffy sleeves, tied at the cuffs with green ribbons, brown leather trousers, boots, and a bright green sash tied around the waist. This is what Twilly used to wear when she was adventuring and running a mercenary company. And while you're not running things, and it's not a mercenary company, we thought that you might appreciate a similar sort of style of dress to add to your collection of interesting bits of clothing.
Just forget Studio Ghibliing. The hair looks like a freaking corona, and I'm basically lit up like a sun.
And hugs from Twilly and Miranda. We just want you to know we are very proud of you.
There are so many hugs. I have almost... I cannot even words how much. All I can do is this. Hug.
Send many, many hugs to him. Alizé is just sort of staying back, letting the family have their moment, but once things have settled down a little bit, it's just... I think that'll be a good look for you, Hazel. Breastplate should fit over it, too.
I have best family. I have best family.
Now we've got some stuff to do today. We gotta hit the quartermaster, and hopefully can make some use of some bits and pieces that I've got. Because I mean, come on, I took apart the red dragon, and I had just been dead. Yet remember, I did take some bits of the green too.
There's loads of bits on hand.
Yeah, so if they need it for, I mean, Darvin, you've got the poison resistance armor.
So do I.
Yep. I don't know if we can't replace Ree's armor, but it's solid enough at the very least.
Plus, the shield she has is also kind of resistant. I think
Acid.
something.
Acid.
Ah, different thing.
Black.
Gotcha.
And I don't think that replacing it with a green dragon skin shield would impress y'all Fortinbras very much.
Probably not, considering, if I'm remembering right, you said that was given by...
Yeah, Remy, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder if we can do anything like ghee-ish or something. I worry about Persith.
That would definitely be on the list of possibles, I'd hope.
And of course, on the one hand, I mean, we could see if we could have something made for Ava, but on the other hand, if the ancient green can do what the adult green did to me, you're gonna want the fire resistance.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was
Rizwin. The leather's got to go to Rizwin. She's the only one of us that doesn't have some kind of specialized armor.
mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And there's me, but I just don't really do armor.
You resist things by way of force
Rah.
of you.
Yeah.
Speaking of what it can do, is there? I know we had that book. Does that have any more information as to what it could do in terms of added, in terms of like magic and such?
Hazel will remember. No.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, and Twilly just shrugs and says, unfortunately it's a bit like me. If you can't, they'll have spells that they need, and
I-
we can't be sure they can't adapt.
Yeah,
Right.
what they need, what they like,
Right,
just
right, right.
preferred things they think are tactically sound.
Right.
When you get to that point of being a caster, it's
Hmm.
just whatever you
figured-
got.
I figured that was the case, but if you don't ask the question and the information's there,
You don't have to keep explaining why you asked the question. We know why you asked the question. They're giving you the answer you asked for. It's not a judgment on you.
sorry.
Anywho,
Yeah, I'm not trying to give you shit. I'm just trying to remind you that somebody telling you that your idea doesn't work or tells you that they can't give you the information that you asked for reasons isn't a reflection on you or them. It's just how things are. No need to get defensive. It's okay.
Okay. Sorry. Okay.
Sorry.
So-
Continue.
so I was thinking of heading into Goldendale and at the very least seeing if there's any rebuild help that can be had. And Ava, we need to probably at least check in with Jenna, see how everything's going there, and if she needs any additional.
We should probably also pay a visit to the shrine as well.
Yeah, we might have to split up a little bit there because we also need to talk to the quartermaster, and it's a bit of a hike into town.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'll be here with Richmond because I'm the one who's got the dragon bits. Although thinking about it, if Darvin, if you're gonna start hauling a shield around, maybe we could do with that one what Reese got with her shield, except with my green dragon bits.
I mean, sure. I already had the armor, so I was thinking of we would
Oh
save those.
no, I
save
guess
those.
that doesn't stack really. I mean, it was only if they had enough, but no, you're quite right. So
Yeah, no, I was thinking that, like you said, save that for something for Rizwin, if possible.
yeah, well, that's why I was saying if it was something to look into if there was enough.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay. Yeah, no, not necessary.
We'll see what we can do for Oseth, and if there's anything we can come up with.
Hmm.
So basically, it's who comes to see the quartermaster. I mean, sorry, Ree, but you're probably gonna have to be with me on this one because they know you.
Yeah, that's fine.
And Rizwin, obviously, and Rizwin is just well. It would definitely be good if I'm getting new armor to have it properly fit.
Yeah,
Hazel, I think you and I, at least, could step out into town. What do you think?
Ava too.
Right, Jenna, you said. Sorry. Okay, so the three of us, at least.
And first off, I guess it's up to you where you want to go.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, you could stay here if you want to spend time with your sister.
There's that, and the though we've got an idea on what we can do in Star Coast, I would think I should probably spend some time meditating and see if I can figure out more specifics instead of winging it when we get there.
Yeah.
Particularly even if you look at the table, which has now been cleared off, you've actually got Faraday sort of sitting next to Twilly with looking at all the books and just sort of getting some tutelage. And Alice looks over. Yeah, we've probably lost her till lunchtime anyway.
Yeah, she's gonna be thinking in Mom's magical fractals for the next year after this.
Mom's Magical Fractals. That sounds like a great name for a store.
Did Faraday's going? I can set some time aside after lunch for my big little brother, and I can still hear you.
Hey, that's an awesome thing to be thinking about.
Big little brother, I love that.
Well, he's big and he's theoretically younger than me.
It's accurate. I love it. That's great.
Truly is like the ability to accept that entire concept. If that's the path you choose, you will make a wonderful wizard someday, dear. Looks up at first and just back down to the looks. The kids in this house, man, seriously.
This is why this is best family.
Yeah. Okay. I haven't met every family, so I can't give anything that conclusive, but it's definitely the family that's right for you.
Beaming. Probably glowing again.
You know, I'm fairly sure that that's supposed to be something that's more of a me thing. Then again, I'm a bit more chill than you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't.
Your glue is on demand. Mine is.
No, you had things to say about possible Halo bullshit, so I don't really know what to think about that, so I'm trying not to. Right, Quartermaster should have had breakfast and at least 2 cups of coffee by now.
Yes, we should get going.
Let's go.
Go forth and
Give
be
my
awesome.
regards to Jenna.
And we've got to start our trek into town.
Yes,
Yep.
yes you do. I mean, if it doesn't take too long, we can try and catch up.
Yeah. I'd say, given if I remember, the Golden Bough was a little not so great state.
Tell you what, hang out in the shrine for about an hour, and that should give us some meditation time, us some time to talk to the quartermaster, and we'll catch up as best we can.
Right.
And if things are dicky, because I mean, come on, we're theoretically Goldendale is still a war zone. If things get dicky, use your key to get back here, and we'll regroup. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Awesome. Let's go. So yeah, Remy and Alice and Rizwin head for the quartermaster's tent. Remy, rather unfortunately, does not know which of the various quartermasters of her acquaintance she's going to be dealing with. She's known a few in her time. There were the surly but very well organized ones. There were the cheerful but kind of scatterbrained ones. There were various ones in between. Unfortunately, when you get in, you find out, oh, fuck, it's the one from Egref. Who's very, very good at putting things together and making sure everybody gets the shiniest of shiny bits. But they are aggravatingly cheerful. much like Calatiel They do not go by a gender. It is entirely impossible to tell. And halfling, so most of the time all you see is the top of a little blonde head. Although, thinking about it, you kind of have to wonder if this one's related to Twilly in some way. So you walk into the quartermaster's tent and all you see is the top of a sort of Einstein poof of blonde hair. Yurming around behind the counter. This guy, Rizwin's like, is that the quartermaster?
Yes, that's them.
And he peeks. Oh, hello! I remember you!
Good morning.
Yes, it is, isn't it? It is a little cold, but I have my heating elements in the tent posts, and it has not set fire to the canvas yet.
That is very good to hear.
Alice is just okay. Military discipline, I love it. So, what is it I can do for you?
We are looking for ways to deal with a green dragon, and especially their poison.
Do not stand in front of their snouts?
That's probably not going to be an option for some of us.
Oh, that is unfortunate. Well, much of our poison-resistant bits and pieces have gone out into the field because we have had some issues, you know. We have some issues with some... I have known some people in my home country who have done some fairly bizarre tinkerings with portals, and they have come back with drawings of looks like combination of demon or devil, perhaps. I have never entirely been sure of the dividing line, but I know that there is one. You would have to ask someone who is more innately into arcana, perhaps, for these. I do not know. But in any case, it is wings but there was going to be wings because he's also sort of crossed with dragon.
Okay.
We have had scouts who have apparently seen something much like this at head of army. And since he's green, we have thing, you see. But I mean, I might be able to find a thing. And Alice just looks over and goes, so how would you feel about a rush job for some leather armor if somebody gave you, say, some green dragon hide? Do you have green dragon hide? You have green dragon hide? Yes, I have green dragon hide. A couple of vials of the blood, if that helps with anything, and several of its teeth. I couldn't get the poison gland. I had just been on fire, okay? Dragon hide and dragon blood! And it actually does the hypersonic thing. Oh. If Hazel was a halfling instead of a half elf, I'd know where she got it from.
Oh boy.
And it actually clambers up onto the counter and sort of throws themselves at Alice in this hug. Ah! Yep. Okay, just hug it out. We're okay. Yep. If you don't let go, you can't work with the dragon hide, and I can't pull it out of this bag. Oh, boing! Okay. It looks at Remy like, what do I do with this?
Remy just gives her a helpless shrug.
I'm going to give you the dragon hide and nudge Rizwin at you because she's the one you're going to be making it for. And if you can make any kind of, I don't know, potion or something that provides any kind of poison resistance, because we have a monk And, obviously monks don't do the armor thing. And Brisbane's like, neither do barbarians.
Does have a point there.
Yeah, okay. 2 if you can manage it. And if it can only be 1, we'll have some kind of argument, probably, over who actually gets it. And God's help me if Froseth gets Froseth at me about it. But hopefully, maybe that's something that the blood can help with. I don't know. And it pulls out a couple of vials and dragon hide. Woomph. We'll leave you to it. And Brisbane is like, and you're going to leave me alone with... Okay. Do we have an estimated time, maybe? Oh, well, the measurement should only take a little while, but I might want her to stand there and give me some indication of what she would like it to look like. This will be fun. Please don't say this is going to take like a week. No, I have taken some lessons in various bits of leather working, so perhaps a couple of days, maybe? It'll do. It looks at Remy, it will do, right?
Maybe cutting it a little close, but we don't want to put an undue burden on them.
Well, to get to where we need to go, we can borrow the family's got a boat, and it's downriver, so...
Even better.
Darvin's story said something about, what, a day and a half by boat? Although, cut that down a little bit, because we're probably going to have to stop at the Frowning Trout on the way to explain what the hell it is we're going to do. And that's something we didn't mention to Darvin, but there was enough going around with, plans and Hazel's birthday, and there is someone's birthday? Oh. Whoops.
Yeah, I think the best present that Hazel would like that she doesn't already have is new armor for her sister.
To be fair, she's got a point. Hazel gets like that sometimes. Yes, but there should be at least something. Use your imagination. We have other places to be. Grabs Remy and shoves her out of the tent. Good luck, Griswin! And Alice is like, you've dealt with that individual before?
Once or twice.
I don't feel so bad about not getting their name, because clearly they've never given you the opportunity to get it either.
Well, after adventuring with Hazel for these last several, however long it's been.
Weeks. So it's been a couple of months now for Remy. So, what, 9-10 weeks? Something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you kind of get used to that level of excitable, but it's like if Calatel had a halfling kid and gave it to Hazel to raise.
Oh.
Well,
that is a thought, isn't it?
yeah, I'm going to need some kind of lie of the brain to remove that mental. Okay. Meanwhile, briefly, Froseth, you are meditating on how one uses the bits and pieces that you have access to rekindle the heart of Star Coast. Make me a wisdom check.
Ten.
You're pretty sure you have all the pieces. There's that. And it's going to involve you being actually on the coast proper. So the best you've got is you're going to have to go back to the beach by that fucking manor.
Okay.
But that's about what you've got in the in the half hour or so before you get the faint sort of sounds of Remy and Alice coming back into Fort Cupcake, basically talking about it's the brief catch somewhere in there of it's like Calatiel had a halfling kid and gave it to Hazel to raise. And that mental image just derails you completely. Alice sort of peers in, it's like, okay, is that facial journey about Barony
What
Hearts?
you just said.
Ah, yeah. We met the local quartermaster. I got pounce hugged. Okay.
Okay.
It got weird. But Rizwin's being fitted for armor. I'm sure she can handle this. She's more used to Hazel than all of us combined. And if she's not, well, not my problem, because I didn't think I could take much more of that. Because seriously, take Hazel, multiply by Calatiel, stuff it in a halfling. Yeah, see, you have the best facial journeys.
I'm having trouble even visualizing that.
She gives the description. It's the shorter end of halfling, but made up for by the hair. It's this blonde poof. Much like Calatiel didn't have any kind of recognizable gender oomph, but it doesn't sound like they decide one way or another at any point. And the first thing they said was, it's cold out there, but I managed to get the heating elements in the tent poles to work, and they have not set the canvas on fire yet.
Okay.
So it's up to you whether you want to go and look in for yourself on that individual, okay?
I'll probably pass for now.
Good call. You are wise. Yeah, we're trying to have a couple of potions made, and we may have to flip a coin to see who makes sure the other one has the potion if there's only enough room for one, because I know we're gonna have some kind of argument about it, but it's not in the usual way.
That's a fair assumption between the two of us, yes.
Yeah, because, I suppose there's the argument of, I can take more of a hit than you, but you can dodge more than I can. So at the end of the day, it balances out.
Yeah.
Coin seems like the best idea.
I'd recommend poker, but I'd have an unfair advantage. Sorry, coffee down the wrong pipe. Ahem. Yeah, so that's that. And us, how did the meditation go?
Haven't gotten much yet. Probably gonna need to be near the coast, where, close to where it was in the first place of the banner. So
where you killed the big tentacle-faced thing.
yeah.
Oh boy.
Wonder if it's still there. Probably be really sludgy by now. I think in practicalities. It'd probably be kind of hard to focus on whatever it is we have to focus on if we have reek of necrotic honey from beyond Avernus and rotted fish.
Ideally, we don't have to get anywhere near that thing, but I suppose we'll see.
I'll give him some time. I'm sure coaxing something that extreme out of the elements is probably a big deal. But the other thing I was thinking we're probably going to have to do is we're probably going to have to stop by the Frowning Trout. If nothing else, I have a feeling that Darwin isn't going to want to be the noble. He seems to be running as far from being the noble as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody else is going to need to take possession of Star Coast, and there aren't any nobles left.
Oh, yes, that is going to have to be a conversation, isn't it?
Honestly, I say we talk to rightful King Langerhan and tell him to ennoble Francine.
Sounds like our best option.
From the stories Darwin was telling, she didn't want to go even when the heart was dead. We'll discuss it with him when he gets back, but yeah, running it by you two because you know Darwin a bit better than I do. And you've all actually met Francine, which is more than I've actually done.
I can't think of anything better.
Picturing her with a frying pan instead of a scepter, you know. It'd make for a really interesting coat of arms.
Yes, it would.
Yeah.
Moving on from the flights of fancy that Alice is taking them on, mostly to get things a little less serious and cheer them up while still bringing up the necessities, you three are flumping through the snow.
DM,
Mm.
would I have had the time to get my gear together and make sure everyone else is geared before we go?
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah,
kind of assumed.
Yeah, just wanted to make absolutely sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a little bit of wiggle room. As long as you told me you've done it, then you've done it. You remembered to say you did it. You don't have to ask if you had time for something as simple as we're heading into town.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming you're going armed and armored just to be on the safe side.
Yeah, I was about to say full kit given the circumstances, yes.
Mm-hmm. So your first stop is the shrine. I am taking it.
Yeah, let's go for shrine first.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing you see on the other side of the road, as it were, from the shrine, is the remnants of the. Well, I mean, I haven't made a new map in quote unquote honor of this yet, but the scorched remains of the frowning trout, of the golden bough. I mean, it really is at this stage just burned foundations and a couple of still basically standing support beams. Somebody has, however, also set the stocks on fire in the not too distant past, and they're blackened and ruined out by the tree.
That at least is a win.
And somebody has actually taken the corpses of the fairy dragons down from the big tree in the center of town. And all around the base of that tree, though, there's little metal posts, each with a different semi-precious gemstone set into it. Each matching the color of one of those fairy dragons, with names etched in, and that's clearly Jenna's work. And they've clearly buried them by the tree instead of in the graveyard.
Darvin will go over and jot down every name to
Okay.
keep.
Yeah, a couple of the makeshift grave markers in the shrine's little cemetery have now been replaced with proper headstones, but not all of them yet. And there's a few more than there were when you visited the last time, but there had been a couple of people that that they hadn't been able to. I mean, they hadn't been able to bury Edwina when you first came through, so. But at the very least, it's not under siege. I mean, for Hazel, it's a quiet little town, Goldendale, but the streets have never been this empty. There's like nobody out on the streets at the moment. There is still smoke coming from the chimney in the blacksmith shop. So Jenna's apparently in. And there's puffs of smoke coming from the chimney of the shrine, so people are apparently in there as well. But it's beyond that. The streets are empty. There's usually a little bit of market trading going on, particularly in the winter as people are picking up the basically a trade of sorts. We have more flour. You have more molasses. Let's do a swap, etc. But not now.
I'm gonna make my way over to the shrine doors and, best I can, knock.
Lyra opens up. Hello, Hazel.
Hey. It is way too quiet.
People are a little bit afraid to be outside at this point. We haven't had incursions much since the mercenaries arrived over at Hearthhome, but do come in. You're gonna catch your death, and we're letting all the heat out.
Everybody in.
I give Darvin a shoulder squeeze pass.
Yeah, I'll walk in.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say walk in, head bowed.
The wounded have been moved. They've done the healing and gotten everyone home. But usually at around this point of the year, you've got people praying to Obad High for nature's wrath to be diminished for them, and thanks to Baery for the bounty of the previous year. But apart from the various clerics, it's predominantly empty. The rope dragon is actually sitting on one of the benches and head reap up when you guys come in, and then boom, it's gone. Still a little wary of people, really.
Understandable.
At least he didn't bite your nose this time. Or try to.
Yeah, I was about to say.
So
no.
how are things at Hearthhome?
Stable. Things are shaping up actually better than than I was worried they might have been. There's gonna be a little bit of evacuation necessary because we're having to contend with another level of green dragon.
I'm trying to think of a polite way of asking you to elaborate on that.
Yeah, I just wanted to pause a second so I could flail for words without, visibly flailing.
Darling, and gestures to the bandage over where her eyes used to be. Would I notice?
I also didn't want to ramble and go in 6 different directions.
That's much more fair. Very good. Carry on.
So, when we went up to the Elven Wilds to see if we could get help, it turned out that they're sort of, I don't know if it's under attack or held hostage by the parent of the Green Dragon that sat in here under that whole seneschal guys, and that one, and she's also apparently phenomenally angry about her offspring being removed from the equation. And so
a mother getting cross about her son being murdered. How novel.
For a dragon, it sounds weird, doesn't it?
Well, yes and no. On the one hand, still a mother, and on the other hand, if he's no longer here, then there's not any kind of tie to look what I produced, look at what I produced, look at the thing that what I produced is doing. It's a matter of pride.
Yeah, so we sort of in the process of figuring out what to deal with that and how to handle it, because we kind of got ambushed and almost handed off either to it or to other minions of the local dragon problem. We ended up basically calling it out, and we've been basically working on the elements of the plan that we established to keep everyone in Hearthhome safe while we get it somewhere that's not its lair to hopefully deal with it.
But you're clearing out everyone at Hearthhome because they might get reprisals.
Mm-hmm.
And so might everyone else who's associated with you.
Mm-hmm.
Then just points. Like, potentially us?
This is part of why I came over here.
It might have been better to lead off with that. I understand that you are trying to veer around the, we may have rung the dinner bell for an ancient green dragon, but it's honestly better if you simply come right out with it. Just be grateful it's me you're talking to and not... And from the next room, you did what? Estan.
Oh, crap. Yeah, that's...
leans out and just... And you didn't... I'm not even going to bother.
Thank you for that.
You did us a service, and we're moderately sensible about it. I cannot truly give you grief for how the gods made you. And the rest of you, because that's the thing, I don't know which one of you is responsible for this. Probably a combination of all of the above, but in any case, that doesn't matter. The point is that probably there are a few people, many, many people in town that should probably also evacuate. We just don't have any convenient spot to go!
Yeah. Hoping to... What's the wording I'm looking for here? Just putting your heads together is almost too lighthearted. Is way too lighthearted for the situation. We've got to figure out a solution, essentially.
We have to figure out a solution. I'm sure you all have enough to think about. Besides, we know our resources better than you do.
Yeah. I just remembering. Just trying to figure out how to word this because this involves someone who is partially celestial, and I'm who.
And Lyra's just, you mean Alice?
Mm-hmm. I'm just wanted to ask. Well, I'm gesturing to. I wanted to ask. Well, Eston, if you knew anything about how Azimar work. Period.
I've seen a few footnotes. What exactly is it that you're after? Exactly. Why are we asking about Azamar now? Because one of their companions is one. You mean they're walking the earth at the moment? Yes.
Yeah.
All right. What is it you want to know? I don't know much,
Well,
but I possibly know more than you do.
she barely understands most of what the properties of being an Azimar are herself beyond just the instinctual base. So she's, as far as I understood it, wants to know more about what she can do and just what she is.
Well, what do you know that she can do? So I don't wind up repeating nonsense you already know.
All I know,
She can make things go.
All right, she knows about that.
She's a protector, so she has the wings and the flying and.
She apparently knows that much. The classes of Azamar footnote a bit as far as that goes. So.
And
Dark vision, just to remind.
And the whole seeing in the dark thing.
And general appearance?
Is from what little I knew, not all of it's fully manifested because we initially met her. She was just really light blonde, and as it's been going on, that's been getting closer and closer to silver.
Well, white gold, really, probably. Silver is a bit more. You find that more in Drow.
Mm.
She was always striking when we first met her. But she, compared to the way she is now, she was more muted then. And now it's like someone's turned up the intensity of what she is.
All right. Question for you, and I will try to understand if you don't know the answer to this. Did she always know what she was?
No, I don't believe so.
Do you know when her guardian started to speak to her?
We don't know the exact time, no. We have a rough couple of guesses, but that's it. One more recently when we met her, and the only other guess we have is when she first discovered the wings, which was as a kid.
But if she was still fairly muted when you met her... Look, one of the predominant differences between Azamar and those with a spark of the divine in their soul that comes from elsewhere is that Azamar have guardians, parental figures of sorts, or just champions or similar, from what I've been able to understand. They're generally celestials themselves, somewhere in the hierarchy. How much manifest, from what little I understand, how much manifest they get depends on how powerful their guardian is, and frankly, how much they are being led by them. Now, it's entirely possible that in the outset, when the wings manifested when she was a child, she was a little bit too thrown by it all and unaware of what she was to the point where she didn't pay it much mind, particularly if she wasn't using those abilities throughout the rest of it. If she's with you lot, and Lyra's like, this is the one that you brought back in defiance of all your training level, isn't it?
Yeah.
Estan is like,
overdid it.
Estan is like, I do not believe you managed to talk Paylor into that. She pats Estan on the arm. Some very significant offers were made. Leave simply leave it there. You're not saying anything. The people involved would probably be very displeased with me if I did that, and we in the cleric-hood do respect people's privacy. Silent, you have the silence of the grave bit. In any case, that probably kick-started a few things, and if she's following more the path that her guardian intends, she is likely to manifest a bit more in the way of the abilities Nazimar should have.
Do you have any idea what sort of abilities that might be?
I think we've more or less got the full gamut. She heals, yes?
Mm-hmm.
That, the amount she'll be able to do so will never be anywhere in Hazel's league, as a for instance, but given that it's a natural ability rather than a indirect grant from the gods, it's still going to get more powerful as time goes on. You didn't mention anything to do with a halo.
No, nothing of that sort yet.
That may manifest. I don't know what form it'll take. If it does, it may not. A lot depends on the Asmar, but if she's... I don't know enough about this, but if things are progressing as you say, it's entirely possible that there might be literal glow, at least when the wings are manifest. Sometimes it continues when the wings aren't manifest. Sometimes it doesn't. Asmar are as different from each other as any other race. But that's probably the last thing that you might wind up with. And you've been given the general warnings about issues involving a fall.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've more or less got everything you need. I haven't heard very much about this individual, but I have a distinct feeling that she would much rather return to Nerul as herself than be one of those.
Oh, definitely.
Of course, depending on how, some can be redeemed, but given the tales I've heard about that black nonsense, I'm not sure how anyone brings anyone back from that. But then again, you managed to resurrect someone with no concept of how true resurrection works, so I would not put this nonsense past any of you. Don't give me that look. It's actually quite aggravating. Some of us train all our lives for what you managed to wheedle out of a god.
Beep.
Clearly, the gods play favorites. Pats him again. Don't worry. I'm sure that Nerul considers you high amongst his favorites. It was just this was a Paylor matter this time. That's all.
Mildly panic squeaking.
I'm noting down all the stuff she mentioned. So, he or she?
He. Estan is a he. Elderly gentleman. Sort of sort of that older going to sinewy leather kind of tough rather than plumping out in his old age. So he's kind of hawk-nosed, granite-faced, grumpy-ass bastard, really.
I'm getting impressions of Alan Rickman older.
Kinda, yeah. Although not so much older at this point. Alan Rickman is not young.
Mm-hmm.
You're
Yeah,
just
seem
used to
like
him in the Snape wig. It's a wig, you know that, right?
Uh-huh.
Except
Yeah,
except his hair is a darker gray. Alan Rickman's going white. Anyway, yes. Darwin having the higher into the group. So also going to remember that thinking back on this and, getting the reminder of this, I'm sure you're one of Nerul's favorites. You were in that temple that he'd only been able to just flagging up if anybody wants to.
That's why I'm not mentioning there at all. He would probably kill me.
Okay.
But I will. I'm waiting, thinking. What is there any way that I can say this that he won't proceed to? I'm just trying to intuit. Is there any way I can say this without coming off?
Give me an insight check. Hey, don't laugh. Her wisdom is pretty damn high.
Yeah, this is sort of what I was going for. It's like, can I figure out how to say this without mangling it? There it is. Rolls normal. 11.
You can't, but you can say, okay, look, maybe I can send Alice to you if she has any questions, and she might have some information to give in trade. Because if anyone can tell him this without pissing him off, it's gonna be her. Because she's gonna come and meet you guys, remember?
She's actually coming to meet us here soon. If you'd like to spend some time talking to her, I could direct her at you.
Well, I suppose taking some notes and saying the things that, and asking the questions that I'm sure you lot aren't going to answer out of an understandable, if annoying, respect for her privacy. So we'll see. And they was like, wonderful. It's been a while since I've had actual lunch guests. I'll go and put something together.
Thank you.
New room for the kitchen. Even an actual war going on has not stopped her from being relentlessly welcoming.
Well,
you could just follow her. She can listen while she's in the kitchen. But actually, part of the reason I had her rooming is because we are about at break time.
Oh, okay.
So when we come back, Darwin can follow Lyra into kitchen to ask things, and we can deal with what happens next. So I'll see you in like 5 minutes. And we're back. Before we proceed to Remy, Froseth, and Alice, we will cover Darvin's apparently wanting to catch Lyra for something. So she's in the kitchen just pottering around. Oh,
So yeah,
can I help you?
yeah. Just had a question in general terms. So I've kind of been
Tiamat. Sorry, Bahamut. Yes,
yeah
I'm aware.
yeah. And well, I mean, I know I know how Hazel does what Hazel does, at least to some basic degree. I know how, again, basic degree, Alice does what she does, and I'm not really sure of the real, well, how I do what I do. Do I, I don't know if I mean, I don't think I need a symbol. I've been praying. I don't know if I need to do that. I don't know how it works. I'm a little confused. Can you just point me in the right, in a right general direction, and I'll figure it out?
Well, from what I'm getting about this, I mean, there's various different ways of being touched by the divine. There's Hazel, who's worked very, very hard for it, much like myself. There's also the situation that I share with your friend Remy, which is you being chosen by a patron of a more celestial type than most warlocks would generally have. In your case, there's always been something, but it's been looking for the right trigger, I suppose. None of the gods that you were raised with spoke to that spark inside of you. Bahamuts do. I think it's in part because you... I'm trying to think of a diplomatic way of putting this. You do very much fight for those who cannot fight for themselves, but you also you struggle a great deal, as far as I can tell, with what you are and what you feel you're supposed to be. I have a feeling, however, that there are other avenues open to you if going further down the path of kindling that spark doesn't appeal. The whole point about Bahamut is that it's justice and it's choice. And while I'm not very much with the fates and everything, but there's more than one type of bard. It's not easily done to change colleges, and there's a few abilities you'd have to give up if you changed colleges now. But there's a couple of archfey that are probably not in the market for a patron anymore, because the last one did not end to their satisfaction. But they might be willing to teach you a whole different way of being a bard. Effectively, follow your heart. If you want to pray to Bahamut, you don't have to do so at dawn. By the way, I can see the marks of far too early rising on you. The only reason that Hazel and I presume Alice, and probably Remy now, do so at dawn is because Palor has specific dawn devotions, because god of the sun. Bahamut is not linked to a specific celestial body. He just is. So when and how, and you note Skylar doesn't wake up for dawn prayers. She prays when it suits her. Farida, same thing. You see, that's why I'm saying keep your options open. I have a feeling that trying to follow Bahamut's path might be a little bit difficult for you, because he does tend to like a bit more in the way of forethought.
That was one of my concerns, actually. Thank you.
But as I say, there are if you're concerned about that, the other things will probably kindle, but how much and how little in the end is up to you. But there are many ways of being a bard. I don't think you would be suited to Alice's way, but there are other ways that a swordsman can use that. And that would actually, in ways that would probably please Bahamut more. The College of Valor, for example, they're a bit more go in sword swinging. But that interesting little thing that the College of Law allows, where you can do spells that most bards don't have access to, that would be gone. But at the same time, you'd be a lot sturdier in a combat situation, and there'd probably be less cause to flail and wonder what on earth you're supposed to be doing.
Thank you. You give me a lot to consider. And
as I say, the more Fey oriented, there's the College of Glamour, but that's a bit more presence and telling people what to do, and
not exactly my strong suit.
you have I'm sorry, but you have a difficult enough time telling yourself what to do.
Exactly. Thank you. Yes. Yes. Exactly. Oh, thank you. It actually helps having someone outside of myself seeing the faults that I myself am becoming a lot more aware of.
And what you need to do is start playing to your strengths. And there's, as I say, there's College of Law bards tend more towards attention to detail and intellect and making sense of all of the stories and the detail. You live them. That's part of why I mentioned College of Valor. They don't. They tell stories, yes, but they don't put them together that way. They live them.
Thank you. Thank you. That's what I needed. I'll leave you.
Or you could help me chop vegetables.
Sure.
Okay. Remy, Froseth, Alice, heading in the general direction of meeting everyone up back in Goldendale, leaving Rizwin to be fitted for armor, because there's Eureka squeaking from the quartermaster's tent, and everybody is staying 5 feet away from it at this point. Like, everybody in the camp is just sort of, they approach the door, they hear that noise, and they go, nope. And Furseth is just watching this exodus away from the tent. And Alice just points and like, see?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that. Yeah. Okay, awesome. And, tromp through the snow that really probably only bugs Remy, because Alice and Furseth give absolutely zero shits. And they get to the borders of town right about there, and they're looking at the husked out remains of the Golden Bough, and sort of checking over it. Well, wow, okay, somebody took significant exception to the stocks.
With good reason.
And
Remy looks to wherever they had last left that dragon head.
yeah,
Ago.
that has been removed. Okay, so as Remy is, I'm gonna actually put you guys places now. So we have Remy is kind of there looking for Seth is what, next to her?
Yeah, probably.
Blink. And Alice is probably next to her on the other side. And around that point, so that's 15-foot radius. Okay, so 10, 15. Okay, so that'd be no. Okay, I see where it focuses now. So I'm probably gonna want it. Yes. All right. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 15. So about that. Complete darkness settles over you in a, well, you guys can't tell how far it goes. It's just all of a sudden pitch fucking black.
Remy, I didn't mean to necessarily click that immediately, but Remy flips out her sword. She casts light on it.
Doesn't work. I'm
Wait.
sorry to have to say it, but guys, it's a magical darkness.
Can we see each other?
Nope. You see
Jeremy.
deadly squat.
Jeremy.
Hang on, let's point because sorry guys, this is a surprise attack round.
Wow.
So that miss. Ooh, okay, so that's d6 plus 3, 5, and yeah. So that's 5 d10 plus, ow, 5, 16, and fuck you. At that point, Alice shrieks in pain and rage, because that was one successful scimitar attack and one bite. And no, I'm not showing you where whatever it is attacking you is, because you can't see shit. And I would like you all to roll initiative. Well, you two, anyway.
I was going to say the rest of us too.
You guys roll me a perception check. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Come on.
3, 4, 5, so that's
12.
Natural goddamn 20, so 23.
Okay,
4.
okay, we will get to you after a round, because it's still going to take some time. 17. Okay, so that's pen. So, oh god, and he gets another fucking attack. Great. Okay, so top of the round is this motherfucker. Miss. Bad miss. Fuck! Why did it have to be the bite? Why? Sorry, that was a nat 20 on its part.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah, that's
That was great.
so that's 6 and 6. Except no, because 6, 8, 9, 12. Oh, Alice is not in good shape. There's more screaming at that point because ow, ow, so much ow. Hang on. Let's see how bad this frickin' is. Thank God she's got an awful lot of hit points because that was something along the lines of, yeah. Okay. Froseth.
Well, I heard screaming. I can't see anything. um, like, guess really the best thing I could do would be move forward until I can maybe see or try and listen for something.
Okay. And to be fair, you know who was screaming, and you remember approximately where Alice was standing, which is.
Yeah.
Go back to my ticky, so right about there. Probably, unless it's moved. You don't know what it is. But your options are basically step in a direction and see if you can get out of the dark.
Yeah.
Or try your luck with swinging in that general direction.
I feel swinging in that general direction will probably cause more damage to my allies than help. So, whichever way I was facing initially, I'm guessing would it be north? I'll move either as far as I can or until I can see.
Well, when you move about there, you sort of come to the edge of the blackness, and you can see it's in kind of a circle at that point. And somewhere in that dark is Remy and Alice, and whatever that was. From where you are, you don't see anything squirming about the edges.
Okay. So yeah, I'll probably just move around like clockwise, see if I can probably around here.
Okay.
Just see if there's anything else I can see. And then
make me a perception check.
Perception. There. 22.
As far as you can see, no. Whatever it is, it's in that darkness somewhere, but you don't see any backup, so to speak.
Okay. So yeah, at that point, it's basically just call out. You too. It's a sphere of darkness. Move out as quick as you can.
Okay. Okay. Remy.
Okay, then Remy moves forward until she's out of the darkness.
It takes her a little bit longer than it did for Froseth, but it's still only 5, 10, 15 feet.
And then she casts Divine Sense.
And that's celestials, fiends, or undead, right?
Yes.
Yeah, there is definitely a fiend in there somewhere.
And then she shouts, Alice, run this way.
Okay, that's gonna be a wisdom check on her part. Yeah, okay. Followed by, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And, "Oh Christ, I hate you." Because that unfortunately means the fucker gets an attack of opportunity,
Oh no!
which it thankfully misses. Holy crap. And that's it. She uses her action at that point to blow the wings, because whatever it is, probably going to come out of there disliking that whole idea. What you're seeing is there's a couple of marks that look like they were made with swords quite similar to hers, and 2 bite marks, which are kind of melted a little bit in an acidy kind of a way. Okay, Hazel did in fact notice. So, while that was going on, what did Hazel do? While that round was happening?
Getting up and starting towards the door, going, "Ava, they're almost here. They're under attack. Come on,
What?
get Darvin. Let Eston and Lyra know."
Where's Darwin? Oh, he's in the kitchen. Darwin! Need you right now!
Yeah, sorry, all that screaming is gonna take another round. So,
Sorry, and I set the knife down that I with the veggies
yeah.
and run for the door.
Okay, and let's see. As its bonus action, the critter is going to move its circle of bullshit.
Oh.
Yeah, it can do that.
Actual moving or just recasting for shits and or giggles?
Moving. Actually moving.
Oh god, that's awful.
5, 10, 15, 25. Yeah, okay, so right about there. And it's gonna take another shot. I hate you. I hate you so fucking much. Okay, so that's D6 plus 10. Okay, so that's more screaming. Thank you very much. Attack number 2. Oh, come on! Sometimes the fact that I roll really well is bad for me. Bite. Finally, thank you, misses. Okay, so at least the bite didn't happen that time. So yeah, darkness just sort of moves to follow you, and then there's more, Ah! Furseth.
Just the worst day.
To be fair, all things considered, you're probably more or less aware that it's sort of here-ish.
Yeah. Let's see. Can I do like a perception check to like try and hear where it might be and maybe get an attack on it with disadvantage?
Well, you can get an attack on it with disadvantage either way. That's...
Yeah, okay.
Well, sorry, I thought that was kind of...
Okay. So yeah, I'll move around there where I thought it was and see if I can maybe hit it.
Okay.
Disadvantage. Is it, 20.
That hits. Roll damage.
Okay, since I hit, I'm also going to attempt a stunning strike.
Okay.
Which is that my DC is... My DC is 14.
And that's a con save?
Yes.
I hate you. Roll damage.
Roll damage there. It's...
Ah. Yeah, okay. Let's have a quick look. Doesn't seem to do remotely like the damage that you would expected. So hang on, that's 58, so 5, 6. Okay.
Okay. Do my second attack.
Okay.
Off that key point I spent. 14.
That does not hit. This is your whiff.
So no. So did I misunderstand that? No stun, right?
No stun.
No stun.
It rolled a natural 14, and its con is +2.
Yeah.
Arc.
And bonus action, I'll just do a single attack.
Okay.
With unarmed. So red glove. Another 14, so that's gonna be a miss.
No, you were getting an awful lot of whiff, and you do, however, hear in Draconic, very quietly, "You got lucky. You won't do so again." Remy.
Okay, so Divine Sense only lasts until the end of the turn. So Remy will cast Detect Evil and Good.
Okay, you will not have to roll at disadvantage because you do definitely know that there is a fiend. Let me pull up something because you don't know what type of fiend it is exactly. Let me just pull up something more or less random. Can never find something sufficient when you need one. It's actually rather aggravating. I'll park a drow there for now. No, there. Okay? But it's definitely not a drow. You don't know what it is, but it's apparently, according to Froseth knows, it's got fairly tough hide, and and Remy knows fiend.
Okay, and then she'll just move to there.
Okay, boink.
And yeah, that's it.
Okay, meanwhile I'm gonna move Darvin sort of back there, because that's where he is effectively. Hazel's close to the door, and Ava's kind of in between, because she was shouting in Darvin's general direction. So we'll put you guys there for the time being. Alice's go. Given that this thing is more or less surrounded, she's got a pretty good idea of where it is, so... That one does actually hit. And... let's see, so... 12 and... ice damage... slashing strike... It's 8... Still not doing remotely the amount of damage that it should probably be. Oh, I forgot about the Radiant. Don't want to forget about the Radiant, because she's got her wings active. So that's 12, 18, so 9. For all it's not doing the amount of damage that she apparently feels it should be doing, she manages to take a reasonable chunk out of whatever it is. Okay, now you three can roll initiative.
Nat 20.
4.
20.
God, your Hazel's initiative is worse than Alice's. Alice rolled a 5. Okay, so Darvin is at the back, but Lyra does point to the back door. So what is he gonna do?
I am going to get as close to the edge of that circle as possible.
Well, to be fair, the first thing you have to do is step out and see that there is a circle there. So
Oh, well, I mean, I'll step out.
10
Yeah.
feet that way, and...
Yep, and then get as close to the edge of the circle as possible. And I'm going to pop, because I don't know what's going on. It's been a while. I don't know the condition of people. So I'm going to pop the tattoo.
Okay, so that's...
Let me go ahead and bring that up, if I can remember the Aura of Life tattoo. Let's see. Oh, I do that. I see it. There you go.
30-foot radius, okay, so... No effect at the moment, but given what's going on, we might be grateful for that later on.
That was a precautionary. Okay, let me ask. No, that's risking. That's verging on metagaming. Never mind. I was going to ask if I could get along the bottom edge just to, but then again, if I'm looking at it, I don't know where people are. That wouldn't make any sense for him to do. So, never mind.
It's basically like those cartoons where you have the dust cloud, except without the helpful weapons going places.
Yeah, exactly. That's what. But at the same time, so yeah. So that's what I'll do for now. Because I don't want to be wading into darkness when I can't see what the hell's going on yet.
Okay, let me just tidy up my initiative. Ava, you didn't see the back door being pointed at, so as far as you know, the only door is the one you came in through.
Can I scooch past Hazel?
Yeah, you can bunk past Hazel, who's kind of there, so 5'10". So you get out the door, and you're basically seeing bubble o darkness.
So yeah, it's pitch black. There's nothing you can see through it from the outside.
Nope.
God is that? I mean, I can't see anything. I don't know. I can't see. Can I see anyone else around apart from
You can
Darwin?
you can kind of glance over there, and there's Darvin standing at the edge of it with his fist out, and there's Alice swearing in pain in there somewhere.
Not much I can do. So
Beyond possibly moving out of the way of the door, because you know Hazel's going to come barging through that.
I'm gonna move out of the way a bit.
Where? Where do you want to
go? Say I move 10 feet. You said?
Yeah.
So here-ish, maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
And just ready my bow if I see anything.
Fair enough. And now it's
and just yell, "What's going on in there?"
I have no idea. I popped this because just in case.
So okay, that's a second scimitar attack. So that's and why is it always the bite? I hate you so fucking much. So that's D10 plus 3. Ow. And yeah, there's a lot of chomp screaming at that point. And Critter is, yeah, okay. Critter is going to take the disengage action, and I think it's only Remy who knows that it's moved past over to there. Froseth, you felt it leave your immediate, but you.
But I don't know where it went.
Nope.
Okay. In which case, with what I know of the darkness having moved on me, I will head south to get to where I can see again. So, like there.
Okay.
10 feet.
You guys, well, Darvin mostly sees Froseth emerge. Actually, before we do that, to be entirely fair to you, make me a wisdom check.
Wisdom check. Or wait, I still have disadvantage on. Roll again, or?
Yeah, please. There's way too much disparity. And it wanted you to have the 22. There's only one person being attacked, and you all moved in the same direction. And it's probably not following you. Do you still want to move out of the darkness with that thought?
Alice would have still been where I last saw her.
Yes.
So, I guess best thing I can do then would be going up, like to her, try to cover her as best as I can. But
Okay, well, we'll move you
Yeah.
there for the time being. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. I can't think of anything else to do it.
Okay. Remy.
Remy does what I should have remembered before. She points up her sword like She-Ra. Says, "By the light of Baylor."
Okay.
Another shot.
Oh, of course, the problem is that's not us.
Is it the same effect? Because it could.
Well, it doesn't give a spell level for what this critter's doing, but now we roll the hand of fate. Ziriel is impressed with you. The darkness, for the time being, lifts, and what you see is it's kind of like a dragonborn gone wrong. It's draconic to a point. The tail, the shape of the limbs, the shape of the snout, but the horns it has are much more in the realm of devil than anything else. It also has wings that are somewhere between draconic and outright devil. It looks at Remy and
Remy moves up to it. And that's it.
okay, so Remy has moved up to there. Now that Alice A can see this motherfucker, she is going to cast heat metal. Now it needs to make a constitution save. Finally, you're rolling low. Not doing as much damage as it probably, yet again, should. But so that's 11, so 5. But it does drop its twin scimitars. I'm going to save the inspiration dice for the time being. So that's basically it. Hazel!
I'm hearing all this screaming. I'm going to bonus action boots.
Okay.
Blur out to by. Well, first off, would Ava have been? Would Ava have, now that she sees the thing, been
No,
able to...
she didn't state she was holding an action.
Gotcha. Okay, so that's going to be blurring over there. Spotting Alice,
Who has 1 hit point, by the way. And not because of Darvin's thing. She had 1 fucking hit point.
blurring over to her. And I'm going to cast Cure Wounds at 4th level.
Okay.
Just double checking. What in the heck? I'm trying to figure out what it shouldn't be just rolling the 1d8.
No, it rolled 3d8 and then an extra.
The extra on the
Yeah.
All right.
It just
Then
rolled. It just rolled an awful lot of ones.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. I was just trying to figure out what it was rolling because I couldn't parse the numerical out when I moused over. And we're gonna stack onto that another. Okay, it's 4th level. So another 6 more HP for Disciple of Life.
Okay, so that's 18. She's looking somewhat better.
And then with my remaining action, I'm just gonna haul off with the great axe at it.
Okay.
What in the actual hell?
Whiff, and Remy kind of has to duck a little bit. Because that is one hefty damn axe. Okay, top of the round, Darvin. You can see this thing now, kind of, in between the...
Yep. Okay, so now that I can see it, and I can see Alice, I will move myself. Let's see. I'm gonna go. Well, you know what? Sure, I'm gonna go right there, just south of Alice.
Okay.
Basically, I'm just making absolutely sure she's in this damn aura, seeing how banged up she is. I'm taking no chances.
Yeah, there are multiple bites and multiple scimitar stabs at this point.
Exactly. Yeah. And having seen the whiffs, I'm not again taking any chances. I'm going to just do magic missile at it at 2nd level. So that's going to be 4 altogether.
Okay.
So that's 2 points of damage, 5 points of damage, 3 and 3, so 6, 11, 13 altogether.
Okay. Yeah, this thing is actually finally starting to look... Yeah, Alice A took a fairly substantial chunk out of it, and now so has Darvin. Bonus action?
Gonna hold on to the inspiration dice for now.
Okay. Ava.
Now I can see this thing. I'm going to start with check ones. Slayer's Prey.
Okay.
Shift a little bit closer. Well, maybe just 1 over so I don't hit Hazel with my bow.
Which direction? You mean there?
Yeah, that's it. So
Okay.
that's there. And fire away.
Go forth.
23 for the first one.
Roll damage. Excuse me.
1. But I add a d6 if I'm...
Yep. And for the first attack in any given round. /R space 1d6.
5, so 6 total for the first hit.
Well, technically 3, actually.
Second one. 9.
That misses. You see it not in bed the way you're hoping for, and just and get frustrated and woof.
Can I bonus action switch to my sword?
You can, yes.
Oh no, I already did a Slayer's Prey, so never mind.
Is a billion.
That doesn't really matter either way. Slayer's Prey is any attack.
Yeah, no, but I mean, just switching weapons isn't really even an action.
Yeah. You can switch weapons. It's just that you still can't attack this round because you've had your 2 attacks, but switching a weapon to okay. Just check on something. Okay. Critter is going to let's see if it recharges first. Okay. At this point, it's gonna take its chances and go. Oops. No. This is gonna make combat a little bit tricky, so you're just gonna have to imagine this with me. Critter's going straight up, which means that, well, actually, to be fair, because it can disengage, it doesn't provoke an attack of opportunity. So, Critter goes 10 feet straight up. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Oop. Oh, crap. Okay, that was really not what I meant to do. Get back into the fricking game. My apologies. Okay, so zoom the map out a little bit. So 10, 20, 30, 40. There we go. Critter is 10 feet up and zooming. It's had quite enough of this, apparently. Furseth!
Let's see. Yeah, I can get right under it.
Yeah, okay, well, I'll put you there, but I'm saying you're directly under it.
Yeah, okay.
Just so it doesn't get confusing when I have to move things later.
Fair enough. What I will try doing, I'm 6 foot, it's 10 feet up. See if I can jump and grab onto it by the ankles.
Okay, grapple check at disadvantage because this is ridiculous.
Yeah. Grapple would be
Strength?
athletics.
Yeah,
strength.
athletics, yeah. I think, do you have athletics?
Either way, it's going to be the same for me, so. I do not have athletics. I'll just hit strength. 19.
You just miss, unfortunately. You just about get its ankle and it kicks you in the snout with the other with the other foot and back down you go. Thankfully not doing any damage because you didn't really go.
Okay.
That's action.
That's action. I do still have a bonus action. I don't know why I didn't think to do this in the fucking first place.
If the next words out of your mouth are Gong of the Summit.
No.
Okay.
Water Whip.
Ah, there you go.
Bonus action.
Yeah, alright.
And I can pull it into the ground in prone.
Okay.
It's gotta do a dexterity saving throw, DC 14.
Nope. That was a natural 18. It still does.
Janky little shit.
It still does damage, as I recall.
Yeah. Let me double check. I'll link it. Oh wait, I think I have a button made for it.
Yes, I'm pretty sure I gave you one.
didn't spend additional key points, so just
3. Okay, Remy.
Okay, Remy runs 30 feet to there.
What do you mean 30 feet to there? 5, 10, 15. That's 15.
Oh, okay, sorry. And then runs up to
Yeah.
as far as you can with the other half.
Yeah, but technically Froseth is there, but
Yeah,
that's
fine.
close enough. So, well, he's still 10 feet up, and you're kind of 5-foot-ish.
Yeah. For once, she can't swing at it, but she can cast Hunter's Mark.
I could do that.
Or,
Bing!
well, that did not bring up the doodad.
Hang on.
Because clicking the button in the attacks and spellcasting just does it. The actual explanation is back over on the spell sheet.
I'm looking it up now. I'm just making sure that there's no. Yeah, it's not like it can. It's not like it can save or anything. So okay.
And then she casts Guiding Bolt. Now, again.
Yeah, no.
I don't think you could even cast Guiding Bolt in the same turn as you cast Hunter's Mark.
Hunter's Mark is a bonus action.
But spells, the rule for only one spell per.
I am leaving it at that.
DM says.
Okay.
Let's face it. Even if it was a rule for straight up paladins, Remy's kind of a special case
Yeah.
as far as that goes. And Hunter's Mark is. I'm not even sure where Hunter's Mark goes on a spell list, really, half the time. So we're just gonna leave it at that. So okay, that's Remy. Alice can see. Oh, and of course, it left its scimitars behind. It actually didn't. I should pick the damn things up. So, okay, she's gonna do a trajectory up. So she's sort of not quite above Remy, just in case something horrible happens, she gets dropped, and she doesn't really want to land on Remy in that situation. And bonus action, she would like to rage. So Froseth and Remy and Alice herself take 5 temporary hit points. Okay, that's gonna hurt this son of a bitch, thankfully. That's the D10 for the radiant and the ice damage, so that's 10, 16, 21, 18, 13, yeah. Yet again, Alice and draconic critters, she just sort of screams at in rage, and then it throws it, shunk, chops the fucker's wings off, and then stabs it through the belly. So Froseth, being monk and being dexterous as shit, manages to dodge directly out of the way as she drops this thing with thunk. Sorry.
it's all good.
What the fuck is that?
Looks like a demon. Maybe.
I think I might have an idea.
Looks like a
Didn't you
devil.
notice?
Looks
Did you
like
notice it kept going? Sorry.
well, it looks like a devil and a dragon all at once. I don't know enough about servants of gods, weirdly, to know whether this is a thing, but devil plus chromatic dragon speaks of Tiamat to me.
Oh, yes.
I was going to say, did you notice how it kept going for Alice and none of the others?
Well, to be fair, it probably would have gone for the rest of them had it had its druthers, but mostly I noticed that once it got outnumbered, it decided, fuck this, I'm out. She's still hovering, by the way.
Are you guys alright?
Remy looks over Alice.
Yeah, ow.
Yeah, you need healing.
We have a shrine right over there.
And apparently, lunch.
Lunch is good.
Lunch does sound nice right about now.
And to be fair, this doesn't surprise me. What surprises me is the color. Dudes over at the, well, individual over at the quartermaster tent was saying something about dragon devil hybrid things. Except they were talking about a green one. This has a more assassin-y looking bent to it.
And it's black.
Do we want to search it? Does it have any? Don't know. I'm sorry, I've never seen anything even remotely like this. I don't know.
Need a couple more seconds. Boots wore off.
Anyone who has Arcana, make me an Arcana check. And you can use Jack of all trades. To be fair, religion would probably also work, but you get a very different perspective.
Nat 20.
Also, Nat 20.
We're really determined to figure this shit out.
Is incentivized.
From various stories that Remy has managed to pick up from, I mean, during your travels, she's probably been to shrines of, well, various gods' halls, etc., more often than we've discussed. And, Darwin has probably picked up some stories along the way for much the same reasons, given he's been exploring faith. What you are looking at is an Abishai, a black Abishai. These were mortals who somehow won Tiamat's favor before death, and as a reward found their soul transformed into a hideous devil to serve at her pleasure in the 9 hells. She sends them as emissaries to represent her interests both in the hells and elsewhere. Sometimes it's simple tasks, delivering messages, sometimes it's assassinating targets or serving in armies. Blacks are infiltrators. Greens are envoys. Diplomats. And generally the ones that you use to manipulate people. Blacks tend to be some of the weaker of them, but what they lack in strength, they make up for in extraordinary sneakiness. As you have seen. Looking at Remy and at Darwin and going, you have at once both bing, oh I know, and oh fuck expressions at the same time. Again, it's a facial journey that fascinates me. By now she has come down and remember the discussion about things manifesting? Currently, there is what looks like ephemeral white gold snowflakes in kind of a halo around her head.
Remy's facial journey is slightly interrupted. as she looks.
What? Oh.
So that's a thing.
I wonder if it goes away when these.
so's that.
Yeah, let's focus.
Concentrate on that first.
Let's focus on this.
Sorry, Allison.
For no, that's fine. I don't want to think about this right now. And
I didn't figure. Remy,
what
you
is
look
this?
Like, yeah,
It's an Abishai. They're servants of Tiamat.
that's how you say it. Thank you.
But,
Yeah, they
the way a
apparently.
god might reward someone in death, that's what Tiamat does.
Yeah,
Turn them
they're.
into monsters?
I think what
Uh,
Nerul does is nicer.
Yeah, basically, it's the type of individual who gains favor with Tiamat, gets turned into something like this, and if I remember correctly, you mentioned a green, so this is a black. Blacks are, well, sneaky fuckers. I mean, like black dragons. And apparently the green ones are more manipulate-y, like diplomat, envoy type of thing. This guy, though, they
This is an
assassinate.
assassin.
Yeah, basically.
Welcome
Well, I mean,
to
given-
devils.
So.
Given how hard it was going after Avernus, eh?
I'm pretty sure it would have gone after the rest of
Oh,
you at some stage. But
Not for nothing, but Alice's, no offense, Remy, Alice and, well, between the two of you, you guys are the heavy hitters. So, yeah, it makes sense to go after Alice.
and remember,
And Alice
Tiamat
in armor.
Tiamat doesn't like me, also, and
As
I've
well, yeah.
just given her another fucking reason.
Yeah.
I really need to let you guys kill these things.
We were trying.
You were doing a pretty good job. It's just that my immediate reaction is it dies now, and I hit like nobody's business.
You hit like an Alice day.
Yeah.
What I was trying to get to was that we also know some other black dragon types who don't really have much of a soft spot for Alice.
Well, yeah, but
But that's still all the way. If they've been going after you, I'd think it was the half sister. But you probably were on the target list. But let's face it, there's been an awful lot of let's stab me, which as long as you all keep me alive, I'm actually kind of okay with that because it means that while they're stabbing me, you can keep stabbing it. As long as I don't die again, I don't care.
Yeah, you didn't
Yeah.
need it, but I popped it on the edge just in case. I wasn't about to charge into the orb of darkness
That's probably
just yet.
that's probably just as well. Yeah, but
I'm trying to be smarter about things.
yeah. Look, you didn't necessarily know how many of us were hurt. It was a good thought. And I know I can't help who they're hitting.
I know. I'm just not
I
happy
know.
about that.
I know, but that just gives you extra incentive for more stabbing. When
Yes, it does.
when they stay on the ground, which
When
this
it actually,
little
when
fucker did.
fighting, when weapons actually work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was pretty tough.
devils. There's a thing with devils. It's like silvered weapons or something.
I was able to,
Yeah,
magic,
but
but that's magic.
And that's a very specific type of magic. I think they're devils. They're immune to a lot of shit and resistant to a lot of other shit.
Well, anyway. Oh, lunch?
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to sound like I'm changing the subject, but
We probably
yeah.
don't want to leave this in the center of town.
Ooh,
No.
No.
The
Oh,
clerics, they might have an idea of how to best dispose of it.
should we at least drag the bits
Well,
away?
no, because that's just gonna leave a blood trail.
Ooh, good point.
I mean, there's enough there. To be fair, there's enough blood from me. So
Yeah, I was gonna say it.
wounds are closed. I'm not actively bleeding at the moment. So
Good.
thank you, Hazel. Hike back to the to the shrine. At which point Eston is sort of leaning out and go, "What was all the racket? Oh, good gods, what happened to you? Does the word Abishai mean anything to you? What?
Oh, it's
It's
the
gone.
rest
It's
is-
gone.
It's over there. What's left
Yes,
of
we're gonna help you.
Oh,
We were wondering how to dispose of that appropriately.
and he steps out, and those of you who have watched Critical Role know Caduceus's trick. Just mulch.
That works.
Praise Nerul.
I'm not entirely sure what is going to grow out of
Probably nothing healthy.
dragon devil mulch, but well, from unhealthy things, sometimes medicines can surprisingly be made.
Maybe.
It is so bad. So,
But yes,
Eston, Alice, Eston.
Oh yeah, you translated a bunch of celestial on at the outer edge of Temple to Nerul. They told you about that? Yeah, I apparently speak celestial because reasons, and I've got the rest of the translations if you want them. You got in there? Yeah. I am going to heal you, and I am going to bring you lunch, and we're going to have a conversation. Drag, what?
Good luck, Alice.
boy, I'm glad that went as well as I was hoping it would.
And
You and me both.
Lyra just sort of leans out and goes, I've set up lunch for the rest of you. I'm sure you can do whatever else you need to do in town after you've eaten something, but that sounded like a bit of an issue.
Yes. Sorry about
Yeah.
the vegetables.
No, that's all right. You chopped most of them.
Good. I tried to leave it situated to where it was obvious.
I'm fairly good at figuring out what you were cutting and how far by sound, so I wouldn't worry about it too much.
Okay.
It's also particularly easy when you're dealing with carrots. There's a very specific crunch noise with carrots.
Yes, there is. I actually know this.
Particularly when somebody really does need a few more lessons in how to properly cut carrots. That's all right. You weren't raised to it. Pat.
No, I was better at eating them.
Well, then you're better than most children who tend to balk at them.
I don't anymore.
I was trying to give you a compliment. I was trying so hard.
Learn to take them, especially from clerics.
I was making a bunny joke.
Still.
But yes, you're right. Thank you.
Sometimes we do these things to stop you from talking down about yourself, and that was a self-deprecating bunny joke.
Okay,
Yes, it
slightly.
was.
Yes, you're right.
You are
You're
not
right.
allowed to say otherwise.
You're right. I apologize. I didn't see it quite as such at first, but yes, looking back, yes.
She actually has to stand on one of the benches to do it, but pat. Because, halfling. And on that note, it's a little early, but we're at a pretty good pause point, so we'll leave you guys devouring lunch and Eston badgering Alice with questions and taking copious notes, and we will see everybody again, hopefully, in 2 weeks when we can throw Rizwin back in with a nice, shiny new set of armor, and hopefully get back to some further planning, although the fact that there's more than one Abishai wandering around is probably something you're going to want to think about. In any case, I will see you all in 2 weeks.
Bye.